Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Season 2 of Midday with Trey. It's a new year, we have a new suit, and we have new guests. Let's get right into the show. Today's guest is the Director of Student Success, Recruitment, and Career Transitions for the Edwards College. Let's give it up for Stephen Taylor. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Man, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, could you just introduce yourself to the audience real quick? Just say who you are, where you were born, and just a little background about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I'm Stephen Taylor. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago, inner city. I'm the oldest of five. Twins run in my family, so I have twin brothers, Lawrence and Torrance. I also have two sisters, Benicia and Dominique. I also have nieces and nephews.
Okay.
So, man, love them to death as well. So, I'm an animal lover.
Yeah.
I have dogs. I have a little Shih Tzu and I have a pit bull, and so they're my pride and joy.
Yeah.
When I'm not working, and I do love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the opportunity to see new places, experience new things, and most importantly, just all growth opportunities.
Right.
To grow, as a person, as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity to just be able to just have fun and
Yeah,
enjoy life.
definitely.
So, my wife and I both work here at Coastal Carolina University. Carrie Lynn Taylor, she actually works in global initiatives here on
Okay.
campus. So
It goes with the traveling.
there we
Yeah.
go. There we go. So if we have one favorite place to go, as far as international travel, we definitely love the cruises. Cruises is the thing, man. So gotta enjoy the islands.
Of course. Well,
Yes,
it's
sir.
great to have you on the show.
Man, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
What was it like growing up in Illinois?
Okay. Being from the inner city, it definitely has its challenges.
Right.
You definitely have to have thick skin.
Right.
When you're dealing with so much that is happening in the south side of Chicago. You have to be very resilient. You have to be around people who are going to be uplifting.
Right.
And when you are in a city like that, it's definitely hard to find those type of individuals who reside in your neighborhood, who may be role modeling behavior that you don't agree with.
Right. Okay.
And so what I was able to do in order to get past all those things was I used my education as an outlet.
Right.
And so one of the things that I enjoyed doing was not only going to school, but also I played sports. And so while in high school, I definitely played football.
Yeah.
I played basketball. I ran track. And I was definitely involved in my education, being a part of clubs and organizations. So I think having strong parents, being involved in my education, and just being resilient was a most important factor to me when trying to get out of the city of Chicago.
Okay, great. And with that, what would you say are some main factors that drive you to even have this inspiration to use your education as an outlet, or to maybe not fall into some of the folds that an inner city can bring?
Yeah, growing up on the South Side, I'm the oldest of five, and so the bar has been set, and so everything rises and falls on me.
Right.
And so when I'm given the opportunity to elevate myself, and when your parents expect you to elevate yourself, you're setting the bar for those who will come right behind you with your
Right.
brothers and sisters. And so I took that as a good challenge, because it was expected that not only do I be successful in high school, but also is expected that I go to college as well as get a job once I graduate from college.
Right.
So it was already ingrained in me. It was practiced that, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan moving forward. And I expect you to basically implement that plan. And so having someone to tell you that from your
Yes.
mother and your father is like, whoa, I have to do it. Out of respect, I don't want to disappoint them. And most importantly, I got other people looking at me, which is my brothers and sisters. So I want to make sure that I role model behaviors that they want to follow.
Right. Okay. And let's move on to maybe after college or even during college. What jobs have you worked over the course of your career so far, and what have been some of your favorites?
Yeah, to be honest with you, coming out of grad school, my goal was to be a high school principal.
Oh, okay.
My goal was to get a master's in educational leadership, go back to Chicago, become a high school principal in the inner city,
Right.
and unfortunately that did not happen.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. So I was like, what is my next passion? And so I was able to do an internship in grad school, working in higher education in a student affairs office as a graduate student.
Right.
And that's what led me to pursue a career in higher education. And so I was like, well, I enjoy work with students.
Yeah.
I enjoy education, and I want to make a difference and an impact. So I'm going to pursue this higher education route. And so my first position in higher education was in orientation.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to work with some of the transfer orientations and first year freshman orientations,
Yeah.
coordinating some of those things. After that, I worked for a TRIO program, which is a federally funded grant program that supports students who are first generation low income and students with disabilities. I also had the opportunity to provide academic support services in regards to tutoring, supplemental instruction, peer coaching. And then from there, I had the opportunity to serve on various committees and boards within organizations to get best practices and learn, about trends and upcoming things that are coming down the pipeline related to the field I was in.
Right.
So people that believed in me were good mentors, good instructors, people who felt as though like, hey, I'm going to groom them, I'm going to invest time in you, and most importantly, I want to set you up for success.
Right.
And so I really gathered that when working in higher education at the various institutions I was at previously.
Okay, cool. And so working at, a more maybe a city environment, and then now in the more low country beach environment, what do you think the two biggest differences are between like just the culture of, maybe the job that you worked?
Yeah. So I've had the experience from going from a big city like Chicago to a small town like Cape Girardeau, Missouri, off the Mississippi River.
Okay.
To the Myrtle Beach area, Conway area. So I've had the opportunity to see it all.
Right.
And so when you're in the Midwest, it's more fast paced. It's growing. There's a lot of variety and diversity. Anytime I go home to Chicago, there's always something new.
Yeah.
When you come into an area like a Conway or Myrtle Beach area, it's more slow pace. It's more resort. It's more retiree community.
Right.
And so you don't see a whole lot of young professionals.
Right.
You see a lot of individuals who are already invested or seasoned in their lives, and they're
Right.
just trying to find a way to enjoy the rest of their lives. And so coming to this area from the Midwest, you definitely see a change in pace.
Right.
You definitely see a change in far as like the economy as a whole. When you're in a city, you see more urban areas, you see more diversity, you see different sections of the city that you never thought you would see before.
Right.
And you can find some of that in a small town like Myrtle Beach or Conway. It's just in a much smaller pocket.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So speaking about, different cultures or areas, how many colleges have you worked for at Coastal Carolina University, and what has been the different cultures around, like, the different colleges?
Wow. Yeah. I started off as an academic advisor in the Wall College of Business. I was given the opportunity to work primarily with marketing majors.
Right.
And so I've never worked as an advisor in a particular, business college.
Right.
So learning the business curriculum, understanding the business talk and understanding the business models and those type of things was very helpful and resourceful. And so once I learned the marketing curriculum and work with marketing students, I got the opportunity to work with finance students.
Right.
And so you start working with students who are thinking about real estate, students who want to do financial planning, students who want to do wealth management or banking and consumer.
Right.
And then from there, I said, hey, I want to learn management.
Yeah.
And so when I got the opportunity to work with management students in the different concentrations, it was like, wow. So, the curriculum across all the business courses and business majors, it brings a little bit of everything that you be like, wow, I'm learning so much from the business world without getting a business degree.
Right. Okay.
And so from there, after working in the Wall College of Business, I had the opportunity to work as an advisor in Gupta Science.
Right.
And so now I'm learning a different language, learning about marine science, learning about biology or chemistry or nursing, those type of things. So you're going from working with students who are coming in saying, hey, I want to go in the water, versus saying, I want to go in the business field.
Yes.
And so that was very unique, understanding the curriculum, very, very science-based. Math-based, chemistry-based, and so that was definitely eye-opening for me.
Right.
So, and now, in the Edwards College, I get the opportunity to work with humanities and fine arts.
Yeah.
My background, my undergrad is in history. I have a history degree. So I love the humanities side of things, and I love reading about the human experience. And so I get to see so many different things that students are doing, so many different talents that students have.
Right.
And most importantly, teaching students how to best use the curriculum for their major in so many different job opportunities.
Okay, and like you said, you're here at Edwards now.
Yes.
What services can you offer, or do you offer to students?
Yeah. So as the director for student success and recruitment and career transition, I primarily focus on connecting students to various campus resources.
Right.
I try to let students know that, hey, we do offer free tutoring on our campus. Let students know about academic coaching. Encourage them to speak with their advisors if they have any questions about their major or their schedule. I serve as an advocate for students, helping them understand that, hey, you have the right to petition certain things. You have the right to ask questions about a certain situation.
Right.
You have support, whether it be myself or one of the deans here in the college. Another thing that we provide to students is the opportunity to have a great transition from high school to college through our first year experience course,
Right.
FYE. And so that's an opportunity to talk about, hey, welcome to college. Let's talk about your transition to college. Let's talk about any concerns and challenges you may be having.
Yeah.
And most importantly, let's make sure that you are aware that you have various platforms here on campus that you can utilize.
Right.
So we do a variety of great things here in the Edwards College as well as in this position, right along with student success events as well.
Cool. Okay, so student success events. What are some upcoming ones you have for this semester?
Yeah. Right now, we have planned for the spring semester. We're actually bringing in Samantha Hicks from Financial Aid to talk about financial aid and scholarships.
Right.
I think that'd be very beneficial for our students to come and learn about the basics of financial aid. We've also invited counseling services to come in and talk about the services that's provided to students. So that way they have an idea of, okay, this is a service that, hey, if you want to talk to someone about a particular situation, or is this a service that says, hey, if you're not aware of what we have to offer, besides just talking to someone, there are other things that this office does as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm also going to be providing a workshop this semester as well, a student success event that focuses on things you need to know before dropping a class.
Right. Okay.
I try to inform students before you make that decision to drop a class, why don't you talk to your instructor?
Yeah.
Why don't you look at the grade book? Why don't you talk to your advisor? Why don't you look at your scholarships and financial aid package? Because your academics and your financial aid goes hand in hand.
Right.
And so these success events that we're going to be starting off in February, kicking it off with financial aid, myself as well as Dr. Bowers from the counseling services is going to be presenting on their services. I think students are going to definitely benefit from those. Okay,
great. And final question, what would be some advice that you could give to maybe a viewer who might want to go into student affairs or maybe looking to work in higher education in general? What could be some advice that you would give to them?
If I can give any advice, is to never be afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
I went from the city of Chicago to a small town called Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And when I stepped out of my comfort zone, I learned a lot about myself, my strength, my weaknesses, and things I would like to improve on. And so I would challenge anyone who's thinking about going into higher education, student affairs, to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Also find a mentor. Find someone that you can trust, that can be resourceful, someone who can be a coach, someone who can have that honest and real conversation with you about things that you need to improve on, or things that you may want to think about as far as your future, or if you have questions related to your career path, someone you can go to and have that conversation about.
Right.
Another thing too is I recommend that you pick up an article related to higher education.
Okay.
There are so many things that are happening in the higher education world, so many great topics that you can read about. By reading about those particular topics, give you an idea of what area interests you.
Right.
And so by looking at articles related to orientation, or articles related to academic advising, or articles related to, diversity, equity, inclusion, read things that, is going to enlighten you, but also educate you on what's happening in the higher education world.
Right.
And last but not least, be able to learn other jobs. Be diversified in your skill sets. be diversified in the people that you work with and who as part of your board or your team that you're putting together. And those things are going to give you so many great perspectives, so many great people, as well as you're going to gain so much knowledge in working those various positions. Right. So it's okay to take on those additional responsibilities or to volunteer for additional things, but make sure that it's a growth opportunity for you as well.
Okay, all good advice. Well, we thank you so much for being on the first episode of season 2 of Midday with Trey. I want to make sure we got you on the show. You know, we talk almost every day, so I really appreciate you for coming on the show. No,
I appreciate the invite, and most importantly, let students know that, hey, my door is always open. Yes. If any student here in the Edwards College of Humanities and Fine Arts need any assistance, I'm located in the Edwards College, second floor, 287.
All right, well, you know where to find them. Thank you so much, Stephen.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's that time again. It's been a little while, so maybe you don't know what time it is, but it's time for the hat of the week. And for this week's hat, this is my first hat I ever got when I was an undergrad at Coastal Carolina University. I got it when I was going to my first football game. You know, I didn't have any Coastal gear. Well, I had a bunch of free T-shirts, but I love hats, obviously, as you know. But I didn't have any Coastal hats. And I was like, that's weird. I should probably get a Coastal hat. So I went down to the bookstore, and they had this. And it was probably like 1 or 2 of these left. And I was like, oh, I really like the design of it. And so I bought it. It was probably like $54, and that was a lot to me. It's a lot to me now, but it was definitely a lot to me as an undergrad. And so it was definitely worth it, but this holds a lot of sentimental value to me. If you ever saw me at a Coastal game undergrad, I was definitely wearing this hat. But if you ever see me now at Coastal games, I'll probably still be wearing this hat. So this hat does hold a lot of sentimental value for me, and that's why it's the first one on season 2. All right, that wraps up this week's episode of Midday with Trey. We have some pretty cool things planned for this new season, so make sure you follow all of our social media accounts down below. We have a new YouTube channel. Like, if you're seeing this on February 1st, we're on the new YouTube channel, so make sure you guys share and subscribe to the channel. We switched it over just so we can have all Midday with Trey content, so we wouldn't be bombarding the Edwards College page with all of our randomness and, you know, just all that good stuff. So we have a dedicated page, so make sure you guys follow that. We have a new Instagram page and a Facebook page, so who knows what's going to go on there. So we have different clips circling the globe, and, you know, we're just going to make this season the best one yet. Like I said, I've been your host, Trey. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.